I'm going to be looking at a game from Strategy and Tactics number 275 called Koeniggratz. This is from the Austria-Prussian War in 1866. This is a game that uses the musket and saber system from Decision Games. It appeared in the Folio series. There's a lot of Civil War battles done with this system. They've done some Napoleonics with it, and my channel's covered a little bit about this. They eventually came out with some mini games using what's called the quick play rules, which they're not a whole lot less than the original rules, but I think they're so much smoother. They're less clunky. I always play the musket and saber games now with the quick play rules. So with Koeniggratz, there are a few special rules in the game. Here, one of them I think is the most interesting is that there are the game uses facing. So if the unit's in line, they have front, flank, and rear. Excuse me, hex sides. So they face, I believe, toward the apex or whatever. So that's one of the important special rules. I think it's good. There's rules in this for rain because that was a problem during this battle. There's also rules for Austrian field works, which they had in this battle, as well as Austrian lethargy. So, I mean, it just was, it was not the Austrians' best day here. So they got a rule covering that. They also have a rule in here for the breech-loading needle gun that the Prussians had. So that's kind of a cool thing that you have in this game. This rule set has a very detailed order of battle here, which is excellent. I love it when they do this. It really adds a lot of flavor to the game so that you can understand the units that are being represented in the counters. So I'm going to take you down to the map and we'll go through this replay. So here we are down at Koeniggratz in S&T 275, and we're using this game, as I said before, uses the musket and saber system, and I tend to play this with the quick play rules. I just think they're better. They're not too hard either way, but the game is a battle, so it's starting at July 3rd of 1866. This is the Austrians and the Prussians, and it's 6 in the morning. So the day is going to begin kind of slowly. The Austrian troops are in their defensive positions. It's light rain, and so the Prussian armies are off map, and they are going to come trickling in over the course of the day, simulating this battle. There are a couple of advanced units from the Army of the Elbe, which are entering the battlefield. You see them here, and they end up encountering the Austrian 2nd Light Cavalry along that road. Also, the First Army, led by Prince Frederick Charles, launches an attack into Sadowa, which is defended by the Prochaska Brigade. And this is what we see happening here. You've got the forces are coming in from the top of the map into Sadowa. So at 7:30, the light rain is continuing, and this is affecting line of sight in this game slightly. And here you have General Herwarth's Army of the Elbe continuing to move into position, and you've got the advanced guard here that is continuing to have contact with the Austrian cavalry. And the Prussian 7th Corps begins marching in. In this next picture, you see along the Bistritz River, the Prussian 2nd Corps is now attacking the Saxon cavalry, which are screening the village of Tresovich. And the Saxon cavalry is making a good showing here, turning back the Prussian attack. The next picture, we go back to Sadowa, and we have the Prussian 1st Army completely in attack mode now. And the 4th Division is actually having some success against the Austrian left flank here. They've actually flanked the 13 Grenzer, which is being attacked by the 4th Corps. Also, the Austrian Third Corps is trying to defend there along the streams. This next picture shows an overview of the battlefield during the early morning hours. And again, to set the ambiance, we have light rain. So you see this Austrian defensive positions here. And then at the top, you've got some of the Prussian forces coming in. So we go to turn 3. It is now 9 a.m. The light rain continues, and the army of Elba is marching on the Austrian left, which is being screened by General Eidelsheim's 1st Cavalry Division. So the Prussian 7th Division attacks near the village, while the lead units of the 8th Corps move toward Radasto. The light rain is continuing. In this next picture, we're seeing the village of Tresowich, which falls as the Prussian army presses on into the defenses. And so the Prussian 14th and 15th regiments attempt to flank the Saxon cavalry, and the 42nd regiment strikes. So the 2nd Jaeger unit there is in Popovich. You see that on the left-hand side of the picture. The light rain continues, and the Austrian Third Corps starts falling back toward Hollewald. The Prussian 4th Division here is in full pursuit. You can see them on the left side of the picture here. And the Prussian 4th Corps is a little bit behind, but it is still trying to maneuver on the Austrian right flank as the Austrians fall back. So we go to turn 4. It's now 10:30 in the morning. Light rain is continuing, and I'm showing in this picture an overview of the battlefield at 10:30. The Austrian Third Corps has largely fallen back to their improved positions, and their artillery has been carefully set up and will have some advantages from this position, I think. Also, the Prussian 2nd Corps is now shown on the left side of the photo. The 3rd Division is quite exposed, but the Austrians are very unlikely to do much damage to it, in my opinion. And then the 4th Corps is still advancing on the right side of the picture. We go to turn 5. It's 12 noon, and the light rain continues. So here we see the Russian Guard is leading the way as the Prussian 2nd Army enters from the north edge of the battlefield. And now it should be noted the 2nd Army here is led by Crown Prince Frederick. The Fusiliers and the Jaegers are making contact now with the 35th and the 72nd regiments. In the center, in this next picture, we see the 1st Army is now threatening Benedek's defensive position. So the Prussian 2nd Corps has moved on to the Austrian left, and the 3rd Corps is now moving through Hollewald and along the main road from the west. And you'll also see the Prussian 4th Corps is now flanking the Austrian right, but they do have some fortified positions there. In the light rain conditions, the Prussian 8th Corps in this next picture is attacking the Saxon army's flank, while the 1st Army's 2nd Corps is holding them in check in the center. So you'll see there in the picture that the Saxon 3rd Brigade has suffered some damage from casualties. It is still noon. I'm going on into the next picture. You'll see the Austrians are maneuvering to cover their left flank. They see the Elba army is turning the Austrian left, so Benedek is ordering his reserves to maneuver into the southern position. So the Austrian 1st Corps is now moving along the east-west road. Also, the Jaegers occupy a position in Stetzer, and the Austrian Cav are steaming towards the far left flank. Going to turn 6, it is now 1:30 p.m. The Prussians are trying to close in on the Austrian position from 3 different directions. The Elba army is a serious threat now to the Austrian left. the Saxons are holding their position in the center, but suffering some losses. And the Prussian First Army is penetrating in the center, that with the defensive positions somewhat. In this next picture, we're seeing General Varth's Elbe army maneuvering onto the Austrian left flank. You'll note that the heavy cavalry are riding into position just to the east of the village of Stieser, and the Austrian First Corps is trying to hold that flank as best it can, as you'll note. We now go on to turn 7. It's 3 o'clock. The light rain is continuing to coat the battlefield. And so the Prussian Second Army is now striking the Austrian right flank. That's what you're seeing here, which is taking full advantage of their prepared positions. You will note that the Austrian Second Corps is holding its position with artillery support. I have to apologize for this next photo. It's a little bit blurry, and I must have shook the camera, but I'm guessing it's the light rain causing this on the real battlefield here. But it's showing what's happening where the Prussian First Army is now meeting up with the Second Army. Still, the Austrian position's holding up here, but, you know, it's a tenuous hold. In this next picture, we're seeing the Saxon army putting up a stubborn fight against the Elbe army. Prince Albert is very close to the action at Strieselitz. The Prussian 1st Reserve Cav is covering the 8th Corps right flank here. In the next picture, we're seeing the Elbe army is starting to lose some of its energy. The Prussian 15th Division is holding the village of Stieser, and the Prussian 14th Division is now covering the Elbe flank. You'll also note that the Austrian heavy cavalry is being addressed by cavalry now from the 1st Reserve. We now go to turn 8. The light rain is continuing. It's 4:30 p.m. The Prussian Second Army is now attacking the Austrian right flank. There's not a whole lot of progress here, but the Prussian 6th Corps is pushing through east of the village of Nettelist. This next picture is showing the center at 4:30 p.m. The Saxon army has now linked with the Austrian formations, and on both sides of the flanks they have a continuous line, and hoping that this slows down the Prussian advance from the west. And this is the position in the south at 4:30. The Elbe army is close to a breakthrough in the south, but the Austrian heavy cavalry are all really now that is in the way on the left side of this picture to block their line of communication and the baggage trains that are in the rear. This next picture is showing what's going on during turn 9 and 10, taking us up to the 6 p.m. turn through the beginning of night. So the north part of the battlefield is still holding up under the defensive positions of the Austrians. The Prussian Second Army, though, is close to a breakthrough. You can see that depicted in the picture. Then in this next picture, we see the 7:30 p.m. turn. The Elbe army in the south has now flanked the Austrian army. The game time is running out, and what you have is an Austrian army looking to retreat from their current position. By the game's rules, this is a drawn battle, but the Prussians win on casualties. So I didn't take any photos of the night turn, so this is the last photo that I have here of the game. I thank you for watching. Again, this was Koeniggratz using the musket and saber system from Strategy and Tactics number 275. Stay tuned if you'd like to see more game replays. Have a great day.